Guess who's on this week's episode?
It's Bert Kreischer. It's back by popular demand. By the way, if you think my energy is good right now, it's not at the beginning of this podcast.
Well, it was just a little low. You were just a little low.
Your boy's dealing with some heavy subjects right now. We talk about this on the podcast. I just got back from Serbia.
Yep.
I've not stopped working. We talk about that.
Yes, we do.
And I am going in for surgery this week. I don't think I've really said anything to anyone about it.
But it's on his elbow.
It's on my elbow. I've torn 56% of the tendons in my left arm connecting my tricep. So I'm going back to get them replaced. I fell them.
They're not replaced, reattached. They're not replacing the tendon. They're reattaching it.
That's why I don't know if you noticed, but I haven't been using my hands a lot lately. So
Shut up.
You'll hear that little fun little Leanne tick. And you'll hear Leanne bullying me to get me in a better mood. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
It works.
I'll tell you what, if I will say this.
Yeah.
If you deal with anxiety, or if you're married to someone that deals with anxiety or OCD or panic, this is a really good episode for you to listen to.
I agree, because we talk about your anxiety a lot in this episode. And
I'm really honest, and Leanne's very honest. And so it's kind of a no.
Well, I didn't talk much about it. I just listened.
Because you had a fucking coughing fit.
No, because you were on a roll. You were on a roll.
Is that what you say, Halston? I was on a roll?
Yeah, you were on a roll.
This is my first podcast I've done in 4 months.
Well, I had to warm you up for Tom. You're welcome, Tom.
And by the way, I've said this in the podcast, but I am kind of heavy a little bit because of this.
Totally.
And I, it's all panic related and all fucking anxiety related. More like dread anxiety.
Totally.
And
I don't think anybody goes, "Woo, surgery."
It's nice to be in a safe place like this.
Yeah.
Get it out of my system so that I can go do Two Bears, One Cave and joke about it.
Yeah.
Because Tom's just going to say that I'm going to die.
Yeah, totally. I think it was good. It's good. I hope you guys enjoy it, because like I said at the end of this podcast, this is really how we are. This is our real relationship. And this was heavy on your mind, and I'm happy to have listened.
Hey, real quick, because I probably won't be able to get to say it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Shout out to Helen Hobson.
Oh.
That's also on my grandmother passed away yesterday.
Nana Hen.
And Nana Hen. She was 100 years old. She had 9 kids, 35 grandkids, tons of great-grandchildren. She never saw anyone in her life pass away except for her husband, meaning that all her kids survived by all her kids, all her grandkids, all her great-grandkids. It's the only way you could wish to live your life.
Yeah, heck yeah.
She won. She won the game of life.
She won the game of life. She was an amazing woman. She was always happy. Every time I saw her, she was happy. You have her laugh. Georgia has her laugh.
And one of the most beautiful things about podcasting is 8 years ago, I did a podcast with her and all my uncles and a bunch of my cousins. And we were at her house. She was 92 years old. She passed away yesterday, and I texted it to all my cousins and all my uncles. And I said, just thought you might want to listen to this. And everyone, my cousin Mag was with my cousin Seal and I think and Caitlin.
Oh, yeah.
And they were sitting on a deck at the beach listening to Nana one last time. I'm hearing her voice.
Or forever, because you have her forever on your podcast.
And so it was I'm really lucky that I have a podcast, that I had the wherewithal to do a podcast with Nana. The only thing I wish I'd asked her is just greet me one more time. Greet all the grandkids, greet all the uncles, because she had a greeting for everyone. Birdie baby, birdie boy, or birdie baby. I got birdie boy or birdie baby. If I was with Abe, I got birdie baby because he's Abby baby. Abby baby, birdie baby. But if I was by myself, I got birdie boy. Oh, birdie boy. Mags.
It's pretty amazing on that podcast when you laugh and she laughs. It's the same exact laugh. And then Georgia laughs the same way. And your cousin Andrew has the same laugh.
Yeah.
I love that about families.
Yeah, Andrew has the same laugh.
Yep, Andrew has the same laugh. It's very distinctive, little giggle.
That's the only thing I wish I had done, because I think that would have been really special for.
Yeah.
But then we would have forgotten somebody.
Totally. There's too many of them. That would have been half the podcast. Was just
half the podcast of her just going roll call.
And grandkid. There was a lot of them.
Such a great energy.
She did. She was a force of nature in her own way.
And so she will be overseeing the surgery from heaven.
She will. It's the first thing I thought of. Oh, you got to know. Is it the first thing you thought of? Andrew? I didn't want to say it, but that was the first thing I thought of.
First thing I thought of is Nana Hen's going to be
watching you.
Yeah. And of course, Isla just goes, hold on. Have you heard? I go, what? She goes, maybe I shouldn't tell you. I said, what the fuck's going on? Go outside. She walks me outside and she goes, you haven't heard? Oh, no. She goes, Nana died. We call my mom Nana.
Yeah.
And I go, Nana died? And she goes, I'm thinking in my head, the first thing I thought was, why isn't she crying? Right?
Right.
And then she goes, Nana's been trying to call you all morning and tell you. And I was like, wait, what? She goes, wait, did I say Nana? Oh, Nana Hen died. And I was like, Jesus, fuck Isla.
Oh, Isla.
So, yeah. So shout out to Nana Hen. If you're in heaven listening to podcasts, listen to this one and then know you got a heavy lifting day Thursday.
She's giggling. She's giggling up there, giggling away. She was a wonderful lady. I'm glad I knew.
So that's if you're wondering why this podcast is so heavy, that happened yesterday. I got a surgery coming up. I just got done shooting a movie, and
You're exhausted.
And I'm exhausted.
You're exhausted.
I haven't got a chance to decompress.
And I'm sick, and that's why this podcast is late. Is I had no voice until today, and no voice at all, and I cough a lot in this episode. I apologize, but it's way better than it was for the past week. So. Thank you for your patience for this coming several days late. Thank you for coming on my podcast, Bert, and being a guest. And thanks for all your emails. Thanks for reaching out and telling me how you feel about things. I love to hear them. So thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy this episode with Bert Kreischer. Nice shirt.
Thank you.
How's it feel being back on my couch?
I thought you were going to say, how's it feel being in a double XL?
Are you in a double XL?
Fucking.
Is that why the sleeves are too long?
Yeah, fucking.
It looks huge on you.
Yeah. The people over at your mom's house sent me 2 double XLs.
Oh, is one for me?
No, this was going to get stolen by Isla. I'll probably never wear a 2 Bears 1 Cape shirt. Although I like
it's a cool shirt. Why
I like this shirt a lot because then someone goes, hey, I listen to that hey, you're the guy on that podcast.
Like they don't do that already?
Well, no, I know, but whatever.
Anytime you wear that hat, I think people, right?
I look like Smokey the Bear with his hat on.
I don't.
I look a lot like Smokey the Bear. Are we recording?
A little bit.
I look a lot like Smokey the Bear.
Just a little bit.
No, a lot. Like when you see this, because Smokey the Bear is shirtless. You know that, right?
Well, I think most bears are shirtless.
No. Hang on. You haven't
He
seen
has pants on, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, his jeans.
I remember, and he has the Ranger hat. It does kind of look like a Ranger hat.
When you see this, you're going to go, oh, shit. Smokey the Bear. Bert.
I married Smokey the Bear. How come you don't put out fires? You just start them.
I mean.
Smokey.
Look at this.
You are kind of Smokey the Bear.
Can you see it, Austin? It looks a lot like Smokey the Bear.
You do look a little bit like Smokey the Bear. That's pretty funny.
Anyone else thinks he looks anything else? Yep.
You should take a picture like that for your next tour.
And then tell
the
everyone
smoke show
I put
tour.
Out fires.
The smoke show tour. I start fires.
Smoke show tour?
Yeah. I start fires.
You're a marketing genius.
I am, right? I've done a lot of good marketing for you. I have wife the party. Well, that's mine.
Yeah.
I help you come up with stuff.
Yeah, you do. No, you definitely do.
Uh-huh.
You definitely do.
I do.
Uh-huh.
Very helpful.
You're beyond helpful. That's an understatement.
So how's it feel being back
it's
in the US of A?
Hasn't been easy.
No, why?
I don't know. I think I made a mistake in going right back to work.
Yeah.
I think I should have. One of the big mistakes I consistently make is, and I've had a lot of people tell it to me. And I've heard it in a number of different ways.
Uh-huh. Can I guess what it is? Wow. Go ahead with your story.
There's like a million different ways to things that I make mistakes on. So,
okay. No, but I think I know what you're talking about specifically.
What's
You
that?
go ahead and tell your story.
No, you tell me.
No, you tell your story. You go.
I think I have so someone one time I heard someone at a backstage somewhere say, Dave Chappelle's starting a podcast. This is way before anyone knew he was starting a podcast. Mm-hmm. And someone goes, oh, that's interesting, because I thought his business model was scarcity. And I went, what? And they were like, yeah, like Dave Chappelle, like the cool thing about Chappelle is he puts out a special, you never know what's going to come out. And so all of a sudden it's like the hot ticket. But if it's weekly, if you hear Chappelle weekly, I said, well, wait, what's that mean about me? And they're like, no, you just throw shit all over the fucking place and whatever sticks. Guy like Chappelle kind of picks his shots. And I went, huh. And I kind of took that as an insult, as like, So do you think if I looked at it as, obviously I look at everything in a business model, but I was like, so if I put out less content, would my content that I put out then be more valuable, or would people forget about me? No one's going to forget about Chappelle. He's the greatest comedian of our generation. I mean, I have a hard time saying the greatest because things that Kevin Hart's done, things that Bill Burr's done, things that Rogan's done, things that Sebastian has done. I mean, there's a lot of really great comedians in this generation. There really are. But he really does stand out.
If you had to choose one.
I'm going to probably go with Chappelle. I just like everything he does.
Yeah.
I like everything he does.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan, but.
For real?
No.
Oh, I love him.
I don't get it.
I like listening to him talk. I mean, but
I mean, I get it, and I don't think it's that funny.
My point is,
sometimes
someone said that to me. Then I'm backstage one time. I'm with Ali Wong, and she says to me out of nowhere, she goes, "You know, it's not going away, right?" And I went, "What?" She goes, "The work. It's not going away. You don't have to be on the road every single week." And I was like, okay. And she didn't mean it as an insult. She was just saying, you're working a lot.
Yeah.
And then I remember
Joey said that to you a lot too.
Joey said, stop doing Sundays. And I remember being like, but if you don't do Sundays, then the clubs won't value you. Mm-hmm. And then I remember Tom was like, I'm doing a special, and then I'm taking a month off. I want to say he took 3 months off. And hung out in LA and hung out with his family, and then did spots at the store and wrote material and kind of just fucked around and did podcasts. And I was like, wow. I did the cabin. I did my special. I then toured all of December so that I was ready to go on tour at the end of January. Did the cabin all of January, went on tour, and then COVID hit. And I don't think I'd ever gotten a break before. And I definitely enjoyed the break, but I enjoyed the break because everyone was on break.
Right.
I couldn't have enjoyed the break if I knew other people.
If you were the only one on break.
If I was the only one on break, I start feeling like, what am I doing? Whereas Chappelle can take like 8 months off or a year off or 2 years off or whatever he takes. So he takes off great chunks of time, and then and not have any panic about it and just be like.
That's really interesting because one of the things we always talk about is running your own race. You very much run your own race.
I run my own race, but I don't stop. I run my own race. Here's the deal. So say they're all doing mile times, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to run my mile as if everyone ran a 4-minute mile.
Right.
I'm not going to run my mile. I think Chappelle goes out and he goes, it's windy, it's overcast, cold weather, everyone's tight. I think I could run like a 5-minute mile and have a good mile. Uh-huh. And by the way, he naturally runs a 5-minute mile.
Right.
He naturally runs like a 5-minute sub 5-minute mile naturally. So, and I think that when he really pushes it, but I look at it where I go, I normally run like a 6-minute mile. Yeah. So I got to run a 4-minute. I got to push to run a 4-minute mile every fucking day of the week. I don't know if that's good or bad. But that is where we get to like, I toured throughout the pandemic. I then went and did the Go Big show, and then I went and did the Machine and spent 3 months. And I don't know if well, you toured after Go Big a little bit. I toured after Go Big. I toured after Go Big. Then did the Machine for 3 months in Serbia, and then immediately went to work again. And I think had I not been hurt, I think it would be fine because I'd have 2 weeks off, and then I'd be going back into another TV show. Mm-hmm. I think being hurt made everything catch up to me. Like everything caught up to me, and I feel like I haven't really gotten a break. I feel like I haven't gotten any time off. I feel like I haven't gotten to relax.
Because you just have to deal with this injury.
I got to deal with the surgery, and then even after the surgery, it's going to be a lot of like, no day is going to be easy, Yeah,
because you're going to have one arm.
I'm going to have one arm,
one functioning arm for a while,
and I won't be able to bend it for a few weeks.
How you going to tie your shoe?
See if I can. They'll let me wear flip flops on the show.
Well, you have a wardrobe person on the show.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what we did.
I guess I'll be tying your shoes. Oh
no, I don't wear shoes here. But like for Serbia, I had someone dress me when I couldn't use my arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had someone dress me for the.
Thank God it's your left arm. What if it's your right? You have to learn how to wipe and all kind of stuff.
Ooh, I never even thought about that.
Yeah, you have to learn how to like wipe your ass.
Yeah.
And you don't think about that, but have you ever tried wiping your ass with your left hand?
I've tried everything in the world.
It's kind of hard sometimes, right?
Texting with your left is fucking tough. It is. Have you ever texted with your left recently? It's like
I text with my left all the time, but I'm ambidextrous. That left stuff doesn't bother me, but you are super right hand dominant.
I'm very right hand dominant.
Yeah,
so
you
I'm
are.
very lucky that it was my left arm that got hurt.
Yeah, you're very lucky.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that, and so I think, and then I mean, you know, if we're talking about this whole picture, and I don't want this to be a bummer podcast, but I think you asked me the question, I'm trying to answer it fully, is that I go in, I go to work, and then I don't really have time off, and then I go right back into another TV show. And I've heard it so many times that like so many people saying to me in different ways, you got to take time off, and I just don't. I
know your wife has said that too. Your wife said
I don't, and then I go right back on tour for the rest of
your wife
9 months.
Raises her hand all the time and says, "Can he have 1 week a month at home, please?"
I don't get that.
And but I have to force it. I'd force it on you.
Yeah.
I have until, except for this fall tour, because you're making up so many COVID dates. I didn't push it super hard, but I pushed for you to move something so you have the whole month of September off, because at a certain point, I think it should be required that you be home with your kids.
Yeah, but you know, I could justify it other ways. I really could.
Oh, you could justify freaking anything. You could justify an addiction. You could justify.
No. I mean,
I'm not talking about you personally. Yeah. I mean, a person in general could justify any.
No,
behavior.
I know, but here's the deal: make hay while the sun shines, right?
Yeah.
I had a very, very successful Body Shots World Tour. I then went into what was going to be a very, very successful Birdie Boy World Tour.
Yeah.
And it got cut off. And I think that is the tour that would have given me breathing room. Had I done that tour, I would have gotten to go.
But why don't you have breathing room now?
And because I don't.
Why?
I just don't.
But why?
I just don't. I don't know.
But why? Why?
I don't know. It's all about money. I just want to make I don't want to, I feel like, you know, also it's, you know, perspective wise is Chappelle was probably a millionaire when he was 25, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ali Wong was probably a millionaire when she was 29. Mm. All of these guys were millionaires when they were young. Mm. So in a weird way, that for them, I think they go, it's not going away. And I look at it and I go, it goes away for a lot of people. It goes away for a great deal of people. Not everyone gets to keep it their whole life. Not everyone's going to be Jerry Seinfeld. I think I'm pragmatic about this. Is not everyone gets to work theaters. Not everyone gets that opportunity. I know that because I've been on both sides of this fence. I've been on the side of the fence where you're in the green room at the store and certain Hollywood comedians don't pay you the time of day because you don't register for them. Mm. You know, and by the way, there's more comics that are working that identify with what I'm saying than don't. So like, and that's where I think I was on that side. I was 43 years old. That's old in this business, in the green room at the store, maybe not 43, but 40, let's say 40, in the green room at the store. And there would be a guy, I'm not going to say names, but like, you know, big famous comedians that just would be outright rude. Mm. Like you look at you and then, hey, I'm talking to someone and he's talking to Segura or he's talking to Joe or he's talking to not Ari. Ari is on my side of the fence. Ari was on my side of the fence. Or he's talking to our friends, Bill Burr, Sebastian. And then you jump in just like I'm a fellow comic and they would look down at you like, hey man, we're talking about private jets or whatever the fuck they want to talk about. So I understand that side of the fence. And so when I got lucky enough to get on the side of the fence that plays theaters and gets to make some good money, I think I brought all that hindsight with me. And I thought, first of all, this does go away. I've seen it go away on a lot of people. On a lot of people, I've seen it go away. You say it doesn't? It does. It fucking definitely does. I've seen it. Too many people, way too many people. What you get gifted an opportunity in this business to grab as much money as you can and then fucking bounce. And I've seen it disappear for people. And I also, hindsight is like, I also am not disrespectful to a guy that maybe he's not even selling tickets at a club.
Right.
You know, because I remember being that guy that was not selling tickets to the club and being disrespected. I remember one guy was so outright rude to me. And he's like one of the more famous people in comedy, if you know what I mean. Not necessarily stand up, but just a comedy guy. He was just rude to me, and I was talking to Scur, and he interrupted us, and then asked me to leave. And I was like,
classy.
Yeah. I think he's been proven to be a cunt a little bit. At least no one in comedy likes him.
So you feel like you haven't gotten a break from Serbia because you feel like you can't say no to work.
I can't say no to work
because of what you're describing.
Because I feel like it, you get an opportunity to succeed in this business, maybe 5 years, if you're lucky, 10 years. If you're fucking really lucky and you get to work for 10 years doing theaters and selling for 10 years, that's like, realize that no one gets that. How about this? Name the people who get to work for 10 years in this business. Like Kevin James was one of them, right? Seinfeld was one of them. Then think the cast of Friends. Look at the cast of Friends. I mean, I don't mean to be disrespectful. Obviously, Jennifer Aniston had a great career. But like Joey and Matt LeBlanc, Joey and Chandler and Ross.
They're all working still. Matt LeBlanc has his own show right now.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
And David Schwimmer is behind the camera, like directing and writing.
Okay, whatever. I'm just saying, like 10 years is a lot of time to get to work.
Yes, it is.
And so you should take advantage of it and work as hard as you can and focus on your prize. Do as many great specials as you can. Really fucking commit to the business of stand-up comedy. And so, but it is backing up on me. I think I have maybe taken it too far, and I'm not giving myself any breaks because I look at everything as an opportunity. And I mean, so, I don't know.
Well, something that's consistent with you with almost every aspect of your life is a need for balance. You're not very good.
The whole cabin was about that. I have no ability to balance.
Yeah, no, you're all intensity, no recovery. And sometimes that's really hard on the body and the mind.
I have a problem regulating my energy. Definitely. But yeah, I don't know. That would be cool if I learned how to do that this year, but it's not going to happen this year.
You don't think so?
No, I know it's not. I already know my schedule until March, until April. I know my schedule until April, and then I guarantee you. So okay, so then let's take
a deep breath.
Why? What, you feel like I'm being super heavy?
No, you're just running really fast. You're talking really fast.
No, but okay. Hypothetically speaking,
okay.
I go to tour up until April, and in January we get a phone call. Says, Bert and Leanne, we'd like you to make a movie starting April 1st. You go, well, Bert he didn't get off until April 14th. And I'm like, cool. We'll go into pre-production April 1st. And then at April 14th, we'll start. You guys go up to Vancouver and we'll shoot the movie. Do you let me say no?
Well, what do you mean?
Like, I mean, in that moment, the right thing is to say yes, to go, I would love that opportunity. Thank you very much. I'm not going to let you down. We're going to bust our ass. We'll get everything you need. We're going to kill it up in Vancouver. The day you want to start, it's the day I'm available. That's how my brain works. Yeah. Whereas Ali Wong, I think, probably would be like, I don't get all, I tour until, and by the way, this is not meant for a slight. I think Ali chose a great deal of balance in her life where she has taken legit chunks, 8 months off. I think she took a year off one time to raise her kids.
Right.
Fucking amazing. Amazing. No panic that the business wasn't going away. Gets back, sells 12 shows at the fucking Beacon or 15 shows at the Beacon or whatever. No panic about that at all. Kills it. Everything she does has been awesome. But I think Ali Wong would look at it and go, oh no, I'm on tour until April. How about we start shooting the movie in November? I'd like to spend some time with my family. And then if they said that doesn't work for us, she'd go, all right, cool. And walk away from the project.
But you feel you can't do that?
I don't feel like I can.
How come?
I don't know. I think it's probably self-esteem issues, I'm sure. But I do think it has to do with the fact that I've been in this business doing shit I didn't like to do. Like jumping off buildings and
riding an ostrich
and riding roller coasters and metal chariots and like shit where I was like, maybe this isn't my dream per se, but I'm getting to pay bills and have fun. And then when they go, hey, also, do you want to do your dream? You're like, oh, yeah, I definitely been wanting to do my dream for a long time. Yeah. So I'm not going to miss the opportunity to do my dream. Now listen, if you give me a version of my dream that I'm not a fan of, if they're like, hey man, we want you to do a movie, you're going to be jumping off buildings and riding ostriches, I'd be like, and I would be like, oh, I'm actually busy.
Mhm.
I'm good doing that, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. So the short answer is I'm feeling a little stressed.
You seem a little overwhelmed.
Do I?
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad to get this out on this podcast
Instead of yours.
No, not. I
Oh.
don't mind getting it out of mine, but not on Two Bears.
Oh.
So I'm shooting 2 episodes Monday, 2 episodes.
Oh, are you?
I'm shooting 6 episodes this week.
Oh, I didn't.
But that's another. So if we're going to talk about balance, I go, okay, I'm gone for a month. I want to make sure that I can do 2 Bears.
Sure.
Where's my balance there? I go, my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are swamped.
Are they?
Swamped. Top to bottom swamped. And then Thursday I go in for surgery. I'll probably take Friday off, you know?
Well, here's the good news of that. You know, I'm a big glass half full.
I'm a glass half full person too.
Baby doll.
What?
You are a glass half empty, glass half full person.
No, I'm a guy who realizes there's a glass holding the water, and without that glass, that water goes everywhere, and that makes me uncomfortable.
What are you
Paulson,
talking
that was a great
about?
fucking analogy.
No, let me tell you something. You are a proven catastrophe thinker.
Yeah.
You cannot deny that. Would you say catastrophe thinker is a glass half full person?
No,
they're not.
Thinker looks at the glass and realizes there's a painting under the glass, and if this glass breaks,
looks at the glass and realizes the glass could break and everything could go to shit and we'd have no glass and no half or full or empty.
yeah.
Is that right?
I'm a catastrophe thinker. You're right.
You're 100% a catastrophe thinker. So if you're going to glass half full this week, you can think of it like this. Damn it, I hate this cold. Think of it like this. You're going to be so busy, you can't sit around and worry about your surgery.
Part of the reason I scheduled the week this way was that I didn't want to worry about surgery. And I wanted to be around Tom as much as I could because he,
just had surgery.
Well, it's there's a lot. The one thing walking away from this movie I realized is you can't control what people think about you, and what people think about you is based on your past behaviors. And once you've done those behaviors, there's no putting that toothpaste back in the tube.
Very true.
I was very aware of how I am perceived, especially because in a place where English is not the first language, the bluntness was very direct.
Mm-hmm.
And so I realized how I was perceived by people shooting this movie. And maybe I wasn't in love with that. Maybe I feel like there's a little more complexity to me that that maybe I have not represented. It's no one else's fault, But one of the things that that I think that gets lost in the fucking recipe sometimes is that I'm a very sensitive person.
Mm-hmm.
Like beyond, like Tom has told me that it's actually a fault of mine.
You are highly sensitive.
But in the same way, I can empathize very quickly, and I can also.
That depends. It depends on how injured you feel. So if you feel really injured, you have a really hard time seeing anybody else's point of view. But if you're only slightly injured, or if time goes by. But when you're one of those guys that if you've been injured, all you can focus on is the injury, and not even on how someone could help you recover from it. It's all about the injury.
Yeah,
and you become very kind of focused on that.
My point is, I purposely am spending as much time around Tom this week as I can.
I think that's great
because he makes me giggle, because he makes me very lighthearted, because he has a very fine-tuned ability to poke fun at me, but understand it. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. If he makes fun of me to me, not to other. Well, he does it to other people too. Mm-hmm. But when we're together, he kind of knows. He kind of knows also what makes me tick and what can freak me out. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I want to be sometimes, and I was saying this to you, sometimes I don't think the like what you say sometimes. Like the other night when you came in and you're like,
yeah,
thinking about your surgery. You should watch that movie, Dr. Death.
Well,
and then I was like, what the fuck?
That's actually not what I said. But
what did you say?
I just walked in and said, hey, have you seen that? Have you heard that podcast called Dr. Death? And you go, you are maybe the most insensitive I didn't go, are you thinking about surgery? Maybe you should watch Dr. Death. I didn't say that. That's you totally misrepresented me.
Okay, whatever. And so, but.
No, not whatever. You do that all the time with me. Okay. So all I said was, hey, have you seen that podcast? Because I was thinking actually about something you could do if you were in rehab is listen to a great podcast. Yeah. I didn't put two and two together that was about a bad surgeon. So it was, and I apologized immediately because I didn't think about that.
Did you apologize or did you laugh hysterically for about 5 minutes? I
said, I am so sorry. You are so right. Yeah. That was really insensitive. Did I not?
You did.
I did. Yes.
But yeah, and Tom's been through, so many surgeries and he just doesn't faze him. And so I think being around people that it doesn't faze, like hearing that 79% of the people have been put under based on my Instagram is like astounding to me.
They know what they're doing. Surgeons nowadays.
Can I tell you?
It's not like old
Can
sawbones.
I tell you, like, I haven't really talked crazy thoughts a lot.
Really?
Never mind.
You haven't talked crazy thoughts? What do you mean?
Nothing.
No, really. What do you mean?
Nothing.
No, what do you mean? Don't just do that.
Nothing. I sometimes I say crazy thoughts and like I talk crazy because I think crazy things. I think I sound like a fucking lunatic sometimes when I say certain things. Mm-hmm. And you go, yeah, they've really dialed in what they're doing. And then I think, yeah, but I'm special. Mm. There's special things about me that what if they don't know how special I am and they just like they don't know that he's got sensitive lungs.
Oh my God.
Or that like there's certain things they don't know about me. And I go that like everyone, like there's certain things I'm different than everyone else. Like I don't know, like I have sleep apnea. Like what if they don't know I have sleep apnea? What if they don't know that I just go, I'm not just like when Tom walked in for his surgery, they were like, do you drink? And he said, nope. Do you do drugs? He said, nope. And they go, smoke? And he said, nope. And they said, okay, blood pressure's perfect. All right. Tom's run of the mill. Like he's run of the mill. He's perfect for a surgery. Because they're like, this guy, he broke his arm, he broke his leg. He's just an average American. Let's get him in here. And then they wheel me in. They're like, okay, here's a guy who pushes it pretty fucking hard. Now,
yeah,
he's upped his blood pressure medicine to about 100 milligrams of losartan to ride out this movie that he's making. Uh-huh. And so potassium levels are going to be high. We don't want to put any potassium in him. So when we put there's certain, okay, he keeps losing a tooth. Now, let's watch for that tooth. We don't want him to swallow it. It go into his airways. We got to do an open heart surgery. Like there's certain things where I just go.
You think the tooth would go into the heart?
No, it goes into my lungs. Goes into my lungs. But that's where my brain starts going.
So this is clearly your anxiety.
When I got my MRI, mm-hmm. which was non-invasive, mm-hmm. Was just my arm. Mm-hmm. But for me was the fact that I was going to be somewhere for 45 minutes.
Trapped.
And I couldn't leave.
Yeah.
I had panic attacks then. I had searing panic attacks and getting an MRI. I can't control them. I don't know why they come on. I wish I did. I wish I knew. I watched this thing on Netflix about panic attacks. It was pretty informational, but no help. It was like, yeah, you're going to get them. Some people are prone to them. It's mostly hereditary. Mostly women get them, I think. Mostly women have OCD and panic attacks more than men.
Really?
That's what it said on this thing. By the way, I didn't listen to the whole thing. So, I kind of was in and out. So the second you start talking about panic attacks, I think about mine.
Then you start panicking?
No, I start thinking about my panic attacks. I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'm just going to, this is the thing that sucks about having panic disorder is you either do it or you don't. And I'm certain there's people that have let an injury go too long and not been able to get fixed because they don't want to go get a surgery.
Because of the panic?
Yeah, and that was...
But there's like proven therapies for panic and anxiety management.
That makes a lot of sense to you. Like that makes sense.
No, but your sister did it. And your sister got a lot of help from it.
Hang on 1 second. That you don't have panic and anxiety. So like, I think for the majority of it, like you can say that. You can say that.
I understand, but your sister does have that, and your sister did get help, and it did help her.
Okay, so
you
then,
and your sister have
then
very
you've answered
similar.
This, so what did you want me to say?
I don't know why. I don't know why you don't get some help so that you can have some relief. You're the one that is suffering with it, and I would think you would want some relief.
Maybe I'm trying to. I'm getting a little frustrated, and I'll tell you why. Okay. Because I want to represent the people that are listening to this. There's a lot of people. The majority of people that are listening to this are on your side. Why don't you just get some relief? Why don't you just get some help? Mm-hmm. When you have panic and anxiety, I think it maybe feels like my 600-pound life, where you're like, okay, yeah, that sounds great, that's awesome. How am I getting through today though? Like right now,
yeah, that makes sense.
Like and it's super frustrating when you have it and you're trying to get through it and you're dealing with it. Mm-hmm. You are dealing with it. Like I live a very full life where my panic and anxiety and my OCD, the little fucking things, no one sees it. No one sees it. You see it because you live with me, but I live a full life. I travel around the world. I do things that make me uncomfortable. I've done them consistently. I do a lot of things where you would never guess that I'm someone that deals with it. Mm-hmm. And there are people listening to this going, oh no, I actually totally deal with it. And I'm not leaving my house. This quarantine's been bad for me and I'm having a hard time re-entering society and I just want to tap out. I don't get it. Mm-hmm. And that when you say, why don't you just get some help? It's almost like saying to a 600-pound person, the solution's super simple. You got to lose weight. You got to eat less calories than you're taking in.
I didn't say it was super simple. I just said it was possible.
It is, and it's also possible for those people to lose weight. I think at a certain point, you become maybe so backed up with it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Look, I don't know. Maybe you're right. I'm wrong. I don't know what.
It's not about right or wrong. I'm just
I'll tell you what.
It
it's Thursday. I go into surgery on Thursday. Not sure if I can start doing cognitive behavioral therapy Monday. I have a pretty busy Monday.
Okay, that's not what I was really asking either. This is something that you've been dealing with ever since I known you. So it was kind of an overall question.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer. The answer is I can grin and bear it. I remember the first time I went in and I said, I have a fear of flying. And the lady said, how long has it been since you flew? And I said, I flew in Sunday. She goes, so how bad was it? And I said, it was fine. I mean, I just hated it. She's like, what did you hate? And I said, the night before when I figured I was going to die and I just figured all the stuff I'd miss. And then I packed my bags and I got in couldn't sleep. And I got in the shower early in the morning and I said prayers and then I got on the plane. I have rituals I do when I get on the plane and I wear certain clothes when I get on the plane because they're the clothes that are safe to fly in. And she was like, so you get through it? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, and you don't have a problem flying? And I was like, cool. Thanks. Like, yeah, I guess I don't have a problem flying. But there are people who don't fly. Anne Reinman doesn't fly.
Yeah.
She just doesn't fly. Mm-hmm. So I guess when you talk about the severity of it, there is no backing me out of this. I will go into this surgery. I will do it. I've already scheduled it. I'm not going to like it. So maybe I don't have anxiety. Maybe I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Nobody said you don't have anxiety.
I know. These are all like super fucking sensitive nerves with me. Cause I'm like, and I'm glad we're doing it here because I wouldn't want to do this on like Two Bears was supposed to be a comedy podcast. This is more of a.
We didn't even have to do it here. We don't have to talk about this if you didn't want to.
I think this, I don't have a problem talking about any of this because I think there are people that deal with this shit.
There absolutely are people who deal with this shit. And there are people who live with people who deal with this shit. There are both you and I in the world.
Yeah.
And one is not more or less valid than the other. The experience of having anxiety as a person, and there's an experience of living with a person who suffers from anxiety when you don't have any.
Well, I'll tell you right now, eating the fire hot chicken that I just did was a really bad idea.
I thought so.
Yeah, and because my stomach's already going like, bubble, and then that
toil and trouble.
My stomach, it dictates my anxiety sometimes.
Your stomach is 100% tied to your anxiety.
Yeah, and we have how many hot sauces in the fridge?
1 million. I have one refrigerator that's almost entirely hot sauces. No, that is also something that is scientifically true, that your stomach dictates anxiety. So if you have a stomach flu and you're not even eating hot stuff, if you get the stomach flu and your enzymes in your stomach are all screwed up, it will cause someone who's predisposed for anxiety or panic to have anxiety or panic because the chemical makeup of their stomach is off.
Yeah.
Like where my stomach gets off, I don't have anxiety, but I'm not predisposed. So I do that with Georgia. Georgia has an upset stomach and she'll start getting really, really anxious because she has what you have. She has some anxiety disorder stuff that's like chemical. And I mean, the last panic attack she had was out of nowhere for no reason.
Yeah.
And she was like, I just think I'm going to die. I could feel her heart coming out of her chest. And I'm like, this is just.
That's the difference between you and me is that when I was a child and I said, I think I'm going to die, my dad would go, oh, you will.
No, I didn't do that.
And then I would be like,
no, I sat down with her.
No, I know you didn't do
This
that.
happened like 2 weeks ago, right? When you came in, I sat on the couch with her and I held her like she was a baby and I rubbed her back and I just kept saying really soothing things to her. I didn't tell her she was going to be okay. I didn't tell her anything like that. I just kept saying, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I got you. I'm here for you.
I've tried.
Until she stopped.
When I was in that MRI, I tried a lot of tricks. I tried a lot of tricks to try to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, the thing about what helped Georgia when she went to the therapist was the therapist said, sometimes these things won't work and there's just nothing you can do and you just have to get through the panic attack. But the more you use the tools, the more they work.
Yeah, well, okay.
So that particular panic attack she had 2 weeks ago, nothing was working. Mm-hmm. So she does have moments where she can manage it. And then there's moments like the other day when there was no managing it. Yeah. So it's, you know.
No, so I have none of those tools. Mm-hmm. But the other day I was in the MRI and I was trying to, I said, I'm a really smart person.
Yeah, you are.
And I was saying, I don't enjoy these panic attacks and they're not real. I said, none of this is real.
Well,
right
that's
now.
not true. They are very real.
Hey, baby.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of killing me right now.
Why?
Because I'm trying to tell you what I was doing in the MRI, and I feel like you're I don't know. Just let me tell you my story, okay?
Okay.
I was having panic attacks. I'm on the MRI, and I was saying to myself, I'm a smart guy. I know I can work my way out of this. These aren't real right now. This is my body doing something. And I said, let's figure out, and I had 45 minutes. And I was like, let's figure out what Leanne's brain would be doing. Like, let's figure out what Tom's brain would be doing. The average brain, like, what is that? What am I doing that's making it different? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden it's like, it's almost like, it's like I'm completely out of control of it. It's like a shout of like, get the fuck out. And then I'm like, I can't. My arm's stuck in there and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. And then it's like all of a sudden everything starts, and then I think of things. I thought of things to like try to relax myself. I was like, my brain is like, it's almost like my biggest enemy. Mm. Like I go, there are little children in an MRI right now who are terrified. And then my brain's like, your fear is just as strong as theirs. You're both afraid. You're both terrified. You're allowed to be just as afraid as a child. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, I'm a grown man. I'm not in danger. What if an earthquake hits? You're losing this arm. Like it's almost like, and I could not control it. And then I was like, I kept trying. The only thing that made me think, I was like, I kept thinking of little kids. Mm-hmm. There are little kids going through surgeries that are terrified. Yeah. And I kept thinking, you're allowed to be as scared as a little kid. You're allowed to be as scared as a little kid. That doesn't make a lot of sense because the little kids should be allowed to be a lot more afraid than you do. Mm-hmm. You are. And sometimes when you're a little kid, you don't realize what's happening. Mm-hmm. So like in a weird way, I was like, well, I know what there is out there to miss in my head. And then I was like, okay, you're allowed to be as afraid of a little kid, but then you've already lived this really cool life. So then if this is the end, then you realize you kind of won. Like you got to be 48, you got to have kids. Like you should never equivalent yourself to a child. The child has so much to fear. That only thing that was, that conversation about that was the only thing that was relaxing me at all, is that there were little kids doing it, and there were little kids stronger than me that could get through it. Mm-hmm. The little kids that could, that's the only thing I could fucking tie my hat to, was like, there are little kids in an MRI right now. There's a little child in an MRI, in a full body scan MRI, who's finding out for the first time they're claustrophobic, not knowing what it is, not knowing how to communicate, and no one's listening to them. And that's the only thing that I was like, well, if there's a kid going, I kept thinking of like a little girl that's 8 years old. There's like a little girl that's 8 years old that's going like, well, fuck, I gotta push through this. Mm-hmm. Then Bert, as 48, you can definitely push through this. And you did. I did. I wish I had doctored myself up. I didn't listen. Tom's like, take a Xanax. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, take 2 Xanax, double it up. Really knock yourself out. You don't want to be there. And I was like, really? And he's like, if you get claustrophobic, it's not good. Mm. And I was like, oh. And then I started thinking about the first time I saw someone get claustrophobic was Jen Wren. We were at her house. We had a bouncy house. And I thought she was joking. The bouncy house deflated instantly. Oh, right? God. And she was in the center of it, and she was trapped in it. Oh, God. And she was making a noise that sounded like a cow giving birth. Like, oh, my God. And she was stretching her arms, like, going, no, no, no. And I was like, I could not stop laughing. And she was like, I'm claustrophobic. Get me out of here. And I was like, gosh. Claustrophobic. I wish I still had that fucking naivete. I was like, claustrophobic. I never was claustrophobic. I never was claustrophobic. No? Never. Still aren't? Travel Channel. Ah. Now you are. Channel. Yeah, now I am. Travel Channel. My dad's claustrophobic. I can't get no roller coaster. Yeah. The things on the roller coaster, I'll just never do it again. I don't need to. I've ridden every roller coaster in the world. I've ridden the best ones there are in the world. I never need to do it again. No need to do it again. Never All need done. To do it again. No, it's over. It's over. Can't have those shoulder restraints. No shame. No. MRI. Same. Like, you know what? When we were doing the movie, do you think you're going to do with this brace on your arm then? Fucking, why would you say that? I mean, I'm just asking because you're going to be like. Do you understand why I say sometimes? Can't arm. See, you know, Tom would never bring that up. He'd just be like, let Bert deal with that when he deals with that. Leanne, he sees it and goes, oh, I see a problem that's going to show up tomorrow. Well, I mean, it is going to be a problem because you're not going to be able to bend your arm. Yeah, I know. Have you ever been in a cast? Baby. Have you? I don't remember you ever being in a cast. Have you ever been in a cast? No, I've never been in a cast. You know, you can't itch it. And you get an itch underneath. You know what my dad used to do? He used to drill little bitty holes in his cast and stick a coat hanger in there so he could itch himself. Hang on. So you know how to be able to itch? What if I'm holding hands with you with your right hand and you have to scratch your nose? What happens? And then I don't let your hand go, and then you go. By the way, this isn't a Leantic. This is who she is. This isn't a bit. And this is when I go. But guess what? It's the first time you've smiled since you sat in that chair. So you must like it on some level because now you're smiling. You got a twinkle in your eyes. I don't know if I'm smiling. For the first time. Or I'm looking at my destiny going, I am fucked. No, you totally have a twinkle in your eye again. You haven't had since you sat in the chair. I'm going to be fine. You are. You're totally going to be fine. You're really strong. You're very healthy. You have Mickey Mantle gene. We've talked about this a million times of all the crazy, stupid stunts you did in Travel Channel and to not get hurt. Yeah. It's amazing. So this is the one injury, real, true, bad injury you've had in how many years of doing shit like this? It's a pretty good record. Yeah. And it was a fluke. It was a fluke. And it's not, Lacey said you would have been injured so much worse if you hadn't been healthy and strong. That's what I keep thinking is that if I hadn't been working out and gotten ready for this movie, I would have been just. All that's glass half full. Yeah. See what I'm good at. I'll tell you what I'm good at. Tell me what you're good at. I'm good at day after the surgery, setting out a timeline for recovery. Setting out goals and achieving those goals. Yeah. Like that's where my brain goes. And I think that's also why I tour the way I do. I'm good at like setting goals and going like, I'm excited about recovery already. I'm bummed.
You are good at that. You have always been the person who the anticipation of the thing is always worse than the thing.
Yeah.
Your anticipation of the flight is so much worse than the actual flight.
I hate that no one can come into the surgery room with me.
Yeah.
That it's COVID. And
you're by yourself.
Everyone's got to be by themselves. And
That's so funny. We are so different. When I fell and went in the hospital, I was like, thank God nobody's here. I would feel so bad if someone was here having to take care of me.
Oh my God.
Thank God. I mean, when Sandy showed up with my stuff, I was
Tom
like,
the whole time.
What?
I sat with Tom the whole time.
No, they wouldn't let anybody sit with me
why
in
did
the
they
ER.
let me in the back?
Probably because you're a celebrity, sort of, with a celebrity. But I mean, though I couldn't, they let Sandy come bring me a bag and leave.
I flexed that so hard when he went to that hospital.
Well, maybe you flex it and they'll let you have somebody.
I don't know if anyone I walked into that ER and I dropped my mask and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Getting a little FaceTime. We're getting fucking into a room quick." And I was like, "Hey, my buddy Tom Segura is hurt." And I saw two dude nurses look ahead and turn around. And I was like, putting my mask back up and I was like, "All right, let's go." And they're like, "It's going to be about 5 hours." I was like, cool. I was like, I got a charger, I got headsets, we're good.
Yep.
I was like, not a problem. And they're like, all right, see if you can find a space to sit. And everyone had COVID. What? What are you laughing at? What's everyone laughing at? What are you laughing at?
I don't want to tell you. Never mind. I just had an image. I just had an image of you. So never mind. I don't want to tell you. It's gonna be okay, baby.
What is the image? What is the image? What's the image, Leanne?
Of you with one arm going like, I can't fucking, Leanne, and I'm not there. You know, like when we had Georgia and you were like, Georgia's crying. You're like, hey, somebody gonna get that?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do by yourself in the hospital room?
I'm hoping I get discharged that day.
I would imagine. I would imagine.
I can't imagine they're going to keep you that long.
I can't either. I mean, I think you be an outpatient. Go home that day. I would imagine.
I mean, one of the big things is
I fell and busted my lip and stayed overnight, so you never know.
You never know. They may keep me in. They may keep me in overnight, but I don't want to be there overnight, and I don't have stuff. I need to know. I got to pack stuff if I'm going to stay overnight. That was the thing is that we went back to that thing and I was like, I had packed. Interestingly enough, I had packed going down to Tom's house that day as if I would be there for a couple days. Mm-hmm. I had a bunch of cash. Mm-hmm. I had headsets. I had a charger. I had a charger for the headsets. I had a long charger.
Yeah.
Like I had a long charger, like a 6-foot charger or whatever. Yeah. I had my phone, I had everything charged up. I had everything dialed in. I had my blood pressure medicine in case I needed to stay there for like the night. And then when they said to Tom, you know, we're going to keep you here, I remember he was like, well, fuck. I remember him being like, I'm not, because he wasn't ready. He didn't pack a bag or anything.
Yeah.
And I just gave him all my stuff. I was like, here's the headsets, here's the charger, here's, you know, whatever, everything you need is here. Whatever else. I gave him everything I had. So like I need to be prepared if they keep me, because you know I've been in hospitals where they're like, yeah, your blood pressure's over 140. We can't dismiss you until it's 130 or something, and you're like, oh, we're gonna be here for a week.
Well, they'll tell us all that on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll tell it all on Wednesday. I'm hoping that I go.
Can I go with you on Wednesday?
I don't think
Probably
so.
not, huh?
I don't think so.
That is the crazy part, right? Because people usually when they have health problems are panicked. Especially something like surgery. So it's always advised that you bring someone with you who can listen clearly to what instructions are.
I'm gonna have a complete entourage to take me to the hospital.
What does that mean?
I'm
like
forcing,
a parade.
I'm forcing
like a parade.
My mom, my dad, you, maybe Annie to go down to the hospital with me to go take me to the hospital and wait for me.
Well, I already asked Annie to stay here all day, the day of your surgery, and spend the night if I needed to deal with you somewhere else. So
But I think it's outpatient. I think they can do it and then wrap you up and then be like, send you on your way.
Yeah. I
think so.
Well, we'll see Wednesday.
Yeah.
No need worrying about it till Wednesday.
That's funny. I wish I had that brain. No need worrying about it until Wednesday.
I wish I could give you some of the brain. Some of that brain.
I wish you could have a little bit of my brain sometimes.
I'm glad I don't.
No, I think my brain saves you from things.
It does. You're right. There's some ways that your brain is way better than mine at thinking about things like during COVID.
During COVID, my brain was super helpful.
Yep, it was. It's helpful sometimes, but it's torturous. It seems it tortures you sometimes too, where you suffer when you don't need to suffer. Sometimes
I feel like if you don't suffer before the event, then that's how bad shit happens to you. I've always felt that.
That's your sacrifice.
That's your sacrifice. Like if you don't.
No, I don't try. I trust the world in a different way.
I'll tell you what. The one time I trusted the world, I fell off a waterfall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought. It's very funny. I thought there's a saying in rock climbing: trust your equipment. You know.
Yeah.
And I trusted my equipment. I just and the team I was with. The team I was with, I don't want to sound shitty about the one guy who's supposed to, it's like the golden tail or whatever. He's supposed to hold the bottom so that bottom rope. So if you start falling, he just tightens it and you stop falling.
Yep.
And he was off doing something else. He was just playing with his dick.
Sleep at the wheel.
No, not, I mean, he just literally.
He was literally playing with his dick?
Probably. There's video of it. He was like just over to the side, kicking rocks. Dumb fucking dude. And just wasn't paying attention. And like, what happened? And you're like, and I remember that morning, I was like, today's gonna be a great day. I love rock climbing. I love rappelling. I love waterfalls. This is my last thing I'm really shooting that's dangerous for Travel Channel. It's the last thing I'm shooting that's dangerous for Travel Channel. I remember thinking that and going like, this is gonna be nice. This is gonna be really nice. Like, and I stopped halfway down on my rappel. And I wasn't cautious. And I thought, I'm a really lucky guy that I get to enjoy this. And I was like, take it in. You're done working for Travel Channel after this. Like, you're probably, I mean, I know we were going to do Bert the Conqueror, but I remember looking around at halfway down the waterfall and I stopped and I looked around at this canyon in North Carolina and I was like, this is fucking beautiful. I was like, you're a really lucky guy. I was like, hey man, treat yourself. You know what you're doing. Swing out a little bit. So I pushed out a little bit and then swang back. And then all of a sudden, I didn't respect the fear that I should have had, and I got hurt. I feel like sometimes I remember we did a rock a cliff jump in Switzerland, in Bern, Switzerland, I think it is, maybe just outside Interlaken, and Kendall, our cameraman, wasn't technically that afraid. Everyone was fucking afraid. Everyone was afraid. Everyone did it, and we all loved it. He wasn't that afraid, and he decided to do a front flip into it. He was like, I'm going to really go fucking hard. And he flipped like 3 times, and then the 3 times, his ankle wrapped 3 times around the rope and tied into an exact knot, and he hung upside down and swang from his ankle. And he thought they thought that he had done severe damage to his leg.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Kendall was like a very like thoughtful freaky dude. Like he definitely like I remember when I got bit by the bat, and I remember being in the car and he was like, and I was totally fine. I thought it was funny that I got bit by a bat.
Yeah.
I posted a picture on Instagram and it got a bunch of retweets, and Stan Hope like commented, and everyone was commenting, and people were texting, you got bit by a bat? And I was like, yeah, whatever, a little clout, right? We're in the car, we're driving back to the thing, and Kendall goes, man, we are different people. I said, why? I think this is after his accident on the thing. He goes, man, if this was me, I'd be freaked the fuck out. I was like, why? He was like, a bat? Are you shitting me? They have rabies, dude. You need rabies shots right now. And I went, that's all you need sometimes with anxiety, is that little match.
Yeah.
And then you are spinning out of control.
Yeah.
One night stand, all you need your roommate to say is, I don't know, man. She slept with you that quick. How many times do you think she's done that? And then you're like, oh God. Oh God. And then next thing you know, you're like fucking spiraling out of control. My anxiety is not as bad as it's been. It has been hardcore and manageable in my life at times.
Yes, it has. It was when you were on Travel Channel. It was really, really hard to manage.
Yeah. But that was like extenuating circumstances.
Oh, I'm not blaming you. I'm agreeing with what you just said. I'm not blaming you.
Sometimes, I actually forget to breathe.
Yeah.
Like I actually forget to breathe. I sit there and I go.
You hold your breath. It's from anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's from anxiety. It's from a lack of balance too, where you're not slowing down and letting yourself recover and have a little minute.
Yeah.
I mean, I do the same thing. I run pretty hot too.
See, I think this is why when I made the movie, this is why I wanted to enjoy myself. Because I think I can get so lost in the details sometimes that I forget the big picture.
Yeah.
And I think that like right now, I'm lost in the details, like the weirdest details.
Yeah.
Like the details of this surgery that are freaking me out are like when they like, okay, put on the gown and then sit here and then someone will be back to get you. And you're just sitting on a bed in a room waiting. That's the fucking details that I'm thinking of.
You're stressing about that?
Like, no, that's an aspect of it. Or,
But does that make you nervous?
That makes me, I know that in that moment, I'm going to be very, very nervous. Or when they wheel me in and they're like, all right, we want you to count back from, I just did it. I mean, they're like, we want you to count back from 10. And I just want to go, no, don't. Like fucking don't or the idea of when you're asleep. Like, what if you don't like it? Like, what if it's bad? What if it's terrible?
So funny. So little trust.
Yeah, no, I know. And I think I should trust in the universe and believe in the stars and stuff like that. But like, if they told you like, oh, when we put you under, you have like 7 orgasms, I'd be like, oh, I can't wait.
Well, I'll have him tell you that. Should we have him tell you that?
What was one thing Steven said? The guy was like, hey man, before you go under, try to think about a good thought. Cause you don't know what happens. We don't know what happens on the other side of this.
What?
That's someone said to Steven. I was like, why the fuck would you tell me that? I don't need to know that. I don't need to know what the guy told you that freaked you out.
Oh my God. Well.
I wish they could say, yeah, take a Xanax before you come in. Cause I think that would help.
They should just give every patient a placebo and tell them that it's Xanax.
I think I'd sniff through the.
I bet you wouldn't. I bet you believe hard enough you took a Xanax, you'd be chill as a motherfucker.
You think?
Yeah.
Let's play a game tonight. It's called Russian Roulette with Xanax.
Oh, well, I mean.
I wish I could take Xanax this week.
I think you would.
I would have taken Xanax every single day this week, probably twice a day.
Yeah.
I could have gotten through with one. I would have broken it up. I would have taken it at 4 and then taken the other half at 8.
Okay.
And how about this? What about let's try to upsell anxiety and appreciate the side the what I see through the rose-colored glasses that you don't see. Like I have trust me when I say every time I have one of these panic attacks, I have a real appreciation for like people who get shit done. Like I'll give you a perfect example. Whitney Cummings has no fear of getting like going to the doctors. And I just was like, I remember looking at her over pandemic. She went to the doctor maybe 40 times. I mean, 30 times. She went so much to the doctor. Got bit by a dog, fucking lost a tooth, like just like a bunch of shit. I was just like, man, that's pretty strong. Or like Tom, when he just was like, yeah, I got to go get another surgery. Like the fact that he's just like, yeah, like I get really, and then you start thinking about like cops or firemen or like, I can't imagine being a fireman or a cop and knowing this is my day every day. It could be some fucked up shit goes down or like fucking military.
Okay. So
Jesus
what's your
Christ.
rose-colored glasses of
You have appreciation for real
Well, I have appreciation for that.
I wonder if I have a more of appreciation because I know I can't do the littlest thing.
Well, I think you do think that you are quite special. So
I told you this at the beginning.
I know. So I would imagine that you would think your appreciation is better than anybody else's because you think you are very special.
Doesn't everyone think they're special?
No, I don't think I'm that special. No, I don't think I'm that precious. And I think that a lot of the feelings I feel, everybody else feels.
Oh.
I think that no, I don't think myself as special.
Can I tell you, I think almost entirely the opposite. I think not a lot of people think the way I think.
Well, no, they don't.
I don't think a lot of people like I love my brain. I'm glad I got my brain, but my brain is super complicated.
Yes, it is very complicated. No, I'm not saying your brain's bad. I'm just saying your brain thinks the way it does because it's your brain, but it's not like an average person's brain.
So yeah, so like I feel like because of my anxiety, because I've been trapped on a roller coaster for 45 minutes in a harness, I really can empathize what it must be like to be a cop. I can empathize how hard that must be because I go, well, I can't do a roller coaster for 45 minutes. Yeah. Or like I remember there were people on there that fell asleep.
Right.
I don't know. Is this too heavy of a podcast, do you think?
No, I don't know. I don't think it's too heavy. Why would it be too heavy?
I don't know. Because I feel like, I don't know. I'm fine.
It sounds to me like this podcast is about you working with you about your anxiety about this surgery and about you working with you about the pace with which you run your life.
Yeah. Those are the two things that have caught up to me on 1 week. On 1 week.
Yeah. It's been you.
In 1 week, those two things came to a head. Mm-hmm. And I think.
And you think you don't want to change either of them. They're just causing you stress.
Here's the question. If I change my anxiety, would I still be the same person?
I think you would.
I think you're right. I don't think any of my creativity comes out of anxiety.
None of it comes out of anxiety.
But a lot of the way I run my business is out of anxiety. Like I
don't know that that's true either.
I came up with the
this.
Okay.
I'll tell you this. Your business comes out of your need to create and your need to be a part of that race you were talking about before. That may have a little bit of anxiety in it, but it's not the same as your anxiety that says, I'm trapped in an MRI for 45 minutes and I'm going to die. I think everybody, I have anxiety. I know you don't, I don't have anxiety disorder.
What's your anxiety?
Well, I have anxiety about getting the house done and about timelines and about, not getting things to happen the way that I want them and not booking my podcast in a manageable way that makes me happy. But my anxiety isn't that's the same, a similar anxiety to what you're talking about with your business. And that anxiety, most very successful business people have. But the anxiety disorder that's related to this kind of spiraling into these places where you're just kind of paralyzed by fear about your health.
See, that's the weird thing is
you're not paralyzed.
I'm not paralyzed by fear.
But you're not paralyzed at all. You always move forward, but you spend a lot of your energy and bandwidth on ruminating over and over again about the thing that makes you anxious.
So what percentage of people do you think someone goes, so yeah, we have surgery on Thursday. It's not a super complicated surgery. We are going to put you down. Obviously, there are risks with that. What percentage of people go, okay. And what percentage go, ooh, I'm going to be thinking about this.
I don't know how to,
50-50, you think?
I don't know. Maybe. I think what would happen if you could remove some part of your anxiety is that you would be able to be more creative in some ways. You're such a problem solver. I have not created anything in like 3 days. It's because you've been, I think, a bit taken over by this anxiety about the surgery. So, all right, I'll let it go. And, it's not that a surgery isn't something to be concerned about. It's just, I don't think it's something to be consumed by. Yeah. For you to have pushed pause on everything for 3 days is out of character for you. And so. Did I do that? Well, you just said I haven't done anything creative for 3 days. Oh, yeah. That's what you just said. Yeah, yeah. So then for me, that's very out of character for you. So for you to allow something in your life to have you stop in that way. I think it's also the fact that I'm not hurt. I'm not hurting. Mm-hmm. So I think that's bothering me. It's like, I think if I was in pain, I'd be like, yeah, let's get this totally done. Yeah, of course. But the fact that I'm in no pain makes me it's confusing. It's confusing where I go. So I'm just going in there to get surgery to be put in pain. Yeah. For something that doesn't hurt me. Totally. And you're getting, different opinions from different people. I understand all that. The anticipation of the thing has always been worse than the thing.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be no traffic on the 405 that day. I bet we'll giggle the whole way down.
Of course.
That's why I was like, if we get Cotty in there, we get Cotty to be in the car, me, you, dad, Cotty, mom. Then I could be looser going in. Would love if they let me bring someone in.
Yeah. Who would you bring in?
I don't know. Maybe not my dad, because my dad, I guarantee you, they'd roll me in and he'd start crying, and I'd be like, "What's going to happen to me?" He's never been good with quelling anxiety.
What about your mom? Oh, honey, you have herpes.
No, not letting my mom go in. It would be either you or Cotty. Cotty would be finding the things, because Cotty's got anxiety. She'd be finding the things to make me comfortable.
Cotty and you are so very similar. And I've talked to Cotty about this a lot, but about my relationship with you in regards to your anxiety, because she understands your anxiety, and she and I don't have a personal connection like I would with my husband. So I can talk to her about the things that confuse me, where I would talk to you about the things that confuse you and me about your anxiety. And it seems to me like sometimes that you take that personally. Mm-hmm. When I'm just a person who doesn't suffer from this condition, who doesn't completely understand it, has no reason why I should understand it.
I definitely take things personally.
And so I ask Cotty sometimes how to handle things, because it's nothing personal to her, and you have the same brain. I mean, you guys have the same exact anxiety about health, about dying. And so she's been really helpful to me. But what's really interesting, and I think you've seen this before with yourself, is I'll ask her about something that you're having anxiety about, and she'll go, "Why is he having anxiety about that? That's so stupid." And I'll be like, "Bitch, you'd be doing the same thing. If it was you, you'd be having serious anxiety."
Do you remember how many COVID tests you got?
Outside of her, it's what's fascinating to me is that when it's outside of her, she can see it more like how I see it. Mm-hmm. But then when she's in it, no one can see it except someone who has anxiety also. Yeah. Like even if I say, "Okay, I understand this is what you're feeling anxious about," there's part of her that denies my understanding of it because I don't have anxiety, because I couldn't possibly completely understand it. I could try to be empathetic and compassionate about it, but it's never enough because I don't suffer from it also. So I can't completely understand it, but there's no allowance for me getting 90% of it right. Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting thing to watch, because she has your anxiety, and to see how she deals with it when it's not happening to her, as opposed to how she deals with it when it is happening to her. Mm-hmm. And the same with you. You're very similar. Well, you hear Cotty talk about something she's anxious about, and you'll go, I don't understand.
When it's not happening to you, it's very easy to say, "Oh, it's not a big deal."
It's not, exactly. But when it is you can't hear that from anybody. It's really hard for you to hear that. So you're right. I'm happy to go in with you and stay and do whatever you want. Of course, I want to be that person. But I may not be what you need in that moment, because you may not believe that I can understand what you're going through.
No, I think you could. I think that I'd probably want you to go in with me.
I try to understand.
But I don't think they're going to let anyone go in.
I don't think they are either.
Into a surgery. That's why we should live in Texas. Guarantee you they're letting people in fucking hospitals.
No, did Push go with Tom when he had his surgery? No. So maybe not.
She was allowed in the hospital room to come see him afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
And that was at the height of COVID.
Mm. But that was here, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was here.
Yeah, so here. That's not Texas.
He went in straight into a rehab. I wonder if I'm going to have to go to a rehab. That's where I'll lose my fucking mind.
We'll find out Wednesday. Why will you lose your mind in a rehab?
Sit in a fucking...
They'll just lay a call button in your hand so you can go ding, 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 ding.
Oh, he had a broken leg and a broken hand.
He was immobile.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay. I think this surgery is, not to make light of it, it's not a light surgery. Yeah. But I think it's your arm. You can do lots of things without your arm. You can't do a whole lot without your leg.
Mobility is a motherfucker.
And you need to be mobile. And like Lacey said, you need to work out and get your blood moving. So funny. She and Mikkel say the same things about things like that. Like the injury has to be flooded with blood. And the way you flood it with blood is to work out. So both of them told me that about my hamstring that I pulled. The best way to heal it.
That is the weirdest. I can't wait till this guy gets here to find out what the fuck that is. I've never felt anything like that in my life.
No?
The weirdest fucking thing.
It happened like 2 months ago. I was just hoping it would just heal on its own, but.
That's crazy.
But Lacey said it's torn if it's got a knot like that. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not super worried about it. But every time I know when Mikkel makes me do these couple of exercises where it is specifically where I'm injured, he said I'm doing that on purpose because that pushes fresh blood into the injury. And that's how you heal it, is you flood it with fresh oxygen and blood, oxygenated blood. So, you know, I think recovery used to be a long time ago that you sit in a chair and put your feet up and take it easy. But I don't think that's recovery nowadays. I think they know so much more about how the body heals.
I do a cycle of steroids.
What?
Like that's why A-Rod and all those guys got busted, apparently. I don't know. Allegedly. I don't know. But
Was to heal an injury?
Heal an injury. Like they had surgery and they're like, yeah, let's bring the muscle back. Like we don't have time to fucking rehab this for a year.
Well, she also said that the collagen in the
I can't have too
vital
much potassium.
proteins.
I can't have too much potassium.
Okay. Well,
I'm on my blood pressure medicine. So you can get someone told me that. So I was eating bananas and I was like,
I'm not sure a banana would push you over on your
Can I tell you that that's the difference in our brains? Is you go, I'm not sure a banana. And then I say,
well, let's Google the potassium in banana.
Well, no, actually, I actually did Google this because
You did.
Well, yeah, because when my blood pressure was up, I had taken a Xanax one day to like lower it because I know that immediately Xanax will lower your blood pressure, but then on the next day it kind of raises it up again, right?
Okay.
And so I was like, well, shit, maybe I should not be. Maybe the best thing for me to do, it's actually was the best thing that happened to me, is I don't know what this word means, and I couldn't find an answer. I'll tell you what the word is: Xanax losartan, and it can have a doubling effect.
A doubling?
It was a byproduct effect. It was whatever they said. It was like, I'll tell you exactly what they said. I'm glad I'm not taking Xanax. It was whatever the word they used. I didn't understand the word. It was confusing to me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if it meant that it was bad for the pill or good for the pill.
Yeah.
And so I stopped taking Xanax that day. I only took one to try to get my blood pressure. And then I was like, all right, I'm just going to go to bed. I'm going to go to bed and not try to like put myself to sleep with Xanax. And the fact that my blood pressure would raise the next day, I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up on this thing about losartan. And it says losartan basically is, see, this is where my brain's different than you, is I go, I should maybe like grapefruit juice. You're not supposed to eat grapefruit juice with a lot of things, especially blood pressure medicine, because grapefruit juice lowers your blood pressure. And you can't manage your grapefruit juice intake, meaning like you can't go this much will lower it, this much will lower it. And so Dr. Drew one time texted me. I saw on my Instagram story that we were eating grapefruits from Stephen's Yard.
Yep.
And he was like, hey, whoa, you're on blood pressure medicine. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? But it's the same thought of like, I don't think a grapefruit's going to do this to me.
Yeah, it's the same thought.
And so losartan is potassium. So when I went into the Go Big show, they came in, they had a doctor, we were on whatchamacallit, and he took my blood pressure. He goes, it's a little high. It's like 150 over 95, which is a little high. He goes, are you on blood pressure medicine? I said, I am. He said, are you dehydrated? That's another huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing with blood pressure is if you're dehydrated, sometimes your body will convince itself that it needs to increase your blood pressure. Something like that. That's not the right way of saying it. But your blood pressure will raise because your body's confused.
Mm-hmm.
So your blood pressure raises if you're dehydrated. So he said, are you dehydrated? And I said, no, I don't think I am. I said, I'm taking these supplements in my drink. And he goes, well, what's in those supplements? And I said, I don't know. And he looked at it and he goes, okay, stop with the fucking supplement. I said, why? And he goes, it's salt and potassium. He said, what blood pressure medicine you on? I said, losartan. He goes, you don't add potassium to your diet, okay? They've got you on that. Leave it at that, okay? And secondly, no more salt. No more salt, and you're fine. Just fucking no more salt. And he took the supplements out of my room. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh. And I was like, that's interesting. And so I've been careful to not go nuts on bananas because I'm like, I don't know. They're filled with potassium, and losartan is potassium. This is the most boring fucking podcast in the world. It's pretty boring. This is what's
boring. It's like middle-aged stuff. Losartan and potassium.
What happened to me?
I can and cannot eat a banana.
I'm going to be so much better out of this surgery.
Maybe we should mash the banana if you're going to eat
Tom's
it.
biggest fear is constipation.
Constipation is very painful.
Whatever.
It's very uncomfortable.
He's like, I get off those pain pills because I don't want to get constipated. And I was like,
constipation is really painful.
Oh, bring it.
When was the last time you've been constipated?
Who knows? Who cares?
Never?
Bring it.
It sucks.
I'll be gobbling every goddamn pill they give me.
Why? Not me. I hate that shit. I hate it. I hated it when I had to take it after I had Georgia. And I hated getting off of it. Getting off of it was terrible. You probably don't even remember. You weren't around.
I wonder what kind of pain pills they give you.
I was on Vicodin when I had Georgia.
Tom was on like Oxycontin.
No.
Was he on Oxys?
I don't know. He wasn't on anything. He didn't take it, so he didn't get constipated.
He stopped taking it early. Like they were like, no, you should still take it. And he's like, no, I'm good.
I think really what you need is an anti-inflammatory, right? And then you manage the pain the way you manage the pain. I mean, how painful can it be?
Well, I'm going to definitely need some sort of nerve pill to
nerve pill?
Yeah.
What are you, 90 years old? Where's my nerve pill? Somebody got my nerve pill?
I need a nerve pill.
You don't need no nerve pill.
I'm gonna need a nerve pill if my arm's going to be stuck out like fucking Horseshack all day. Oh.
I heard that's pretty funny. I'm going to need a nerve pill.
I mean, I never thought about it. My arm's going to be like this the whole time.
I think they're going to have it straight up. So it's like you're asking a question. Like, excuse me, teacher, I have a question. No, I think it just has to be straight, right? Or they probably have it like boomerang.
Mm-mm.
No?
Straight so that it'll heal. And then they slowly start bending it.
Wow.
Don't.
Don't what?
I know what you're doing.
What am I doing?
You're thinking how much it's going to bother me.
It's going to bother you a lot. It is going to bother you a lot.
Let me tell you something.
Don't you think it's going to bother you a lot?
Nope.
Okay, good. Good. Well, then I'm glad I was wrong. Why?
Because in Serbia, twice I couldn't bend my arm and I didn't have a brace on it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it to bend.
Yeah.
I would tape it up so it couldn't bend. Because if it bent, it hurt like a motherfucker.
Okay.
There's a difference between your arm not hurting and then putting in a brace where you can't move it and you're like, well, this is fucking stupid, versus it hurts really bad and you're like, I don't want it to bend.
Yeah, that's very true.
I mean, I would wrap it up. I would lose my fucking mind trying to explain in English what I wanted.
Oh, they'd never get it. Yeah.
And I mean, and they don't, and you know, they don't have braces the way, you know, socialized healthcare is interesting. I won't say if it's better or worse. I'll just say that it's very interesting in that certain things that we have or that we have access to, they don't have access to. Like the only brace they had was honestly, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but it was probably, this is the only brace they had access to in Serbia would be the cheapest brace at Big Five. Like if you said, find me a brace at Big Five that's under $10, that was the nicest brace I could get in Serbia.
Yeah.
And when we got it at a pharmacy, we couldn't get it at a sporting goods store. And they were like, I don't think, and mind you, you have to like compartmentalize that the information I'm getting is not from a specialist in everything. It's like, you know, it's a PA or the onset doctor or like someone they're like, I remember one of us was our production manager and she was like, yeah, our sporting goods stores aren't like your sporting goods stores. You can't just get like knee braces and arm braces at them. Now, granted, I don't know if she ever goes to sporting goods stores, so this may be inaccurate, but I remember going like, they're like, this is a good one. It's the best one you're going to get. We're getting it from a pharmacy. I have it here. You'll see it and you'll go, wow, that's the best.
It's pretty minor.
It was an elastic sleeve.
Yeah.
That had a strap to hold it tight on your, it was basically for tennis elbow.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, that's not
they
what
play
I
a
have.
lot of tennis in Serbia?
I think so. Yeah, they actually do. They're really big in tennis because Djokovic. Djokovic is like the number one tennis player in the world, and he's from Serbia.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so they're big in a couple sports, three sports: soccer, tennis, and basketball, I think, and probably cage fighting. I'm assuming just based on what the men look like.
Well, here's one good thing I think about your surgery happening when you're going to Macon to shoot Go Big Show, and that's a pretty predictable, very structured month that you have. So if you're going to do some rehab in Macon while you're there, it can be managed and handled in a very structured way. Whereas when you're home, there's so many moving parts when you're home of Two Bears, One Cave, Bert Cast. If you're on the road, you're in a different city all the time. Yeah. So if it had to happen,
it's good.
This is good because then you go big and then you come home for a month. So it's very kind of manageable pockets of time where you can really rehab it properly. Because I think the problem with most people after surgery is they go, okay, I'm done. When really that's not true. You do have to rehab yourself.
Rehab is going to be intense. And I think we have Lacey, and then we're right next to a big hospital.
Yeah, you are. Macon.
So I wonder if there's a way to get a rehab specialist to come over to my room.
Oh, I'm sure.
Once a day and work with me and do some exercises.
Absolutely. You should ask your surgeon to give you a referral for someone at Macon. Mercer University is there. It's a medical focused university.
So we're actually share a parking lot with them.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's someone through Mercer, if not through the local hospital that Mercer teaches out of.
I haven't used either of my hands much since I got diagnosed with the surgery. I haven't used. And by the way, I was using my arm like it was a fucking regular arm. You're a jerk.
What? You've been eating with your elbows? What do you mean you haven't used your
I haven't been using my hands much. much.
Do you building a lot of stuff with hammers? What were you doing before? What do you mean? I mean, you tapping your finger now.
I wonder if there's anyone that listening to this goes, I really empathize with Bert. He deserves better. He deserves better. If this was,
mean you haven't been using your hands much? Have you been walking around with them limp like this?
I've been
like this, limp in front of you, like I got a bad elbow.
I've been noticing at times that my hands will be like this, and I'll just be holding them like this, and I'll be like, "Am I not using these guys?" And then I'll just go.
Because fast fingers is really what you do. You walk around all the time like this, usually. But now that you have a bum elbow, you're just kind of limp wristed. I think that you're using your hands just fine.
What if they do the surgery and they're like, "Oh my God, we're so sorry, we gave you a limp wrist."
I haven't been using my hands much.
And so I was like, I can totally use my arm, but I just have a limp wrist.
You have a pretty interesting brain, Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, I do.
Well, I'm ready for you to use that brain for good and not for surgery.
Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. It'll be a nice night.
You'll be over. Be done.
Yeah, it'll be done. Whether it be dead or alive, there's no stopping it.
Do you feel like part of your destiny is to go out in some blaze of glory? Like
part of me thought, you want this movie to be big. Well, then die.
Oh my God. You've got to be kidding.
It will be. It's because, see, the problem is when you die, you could be a very mediocre talent, but if you die, you're held up as like a genius.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. There's lots of mediocre talents that died young, and everyone's like, he was a fucking genius. And no one talks bad about you. Like when you die, no one tries to like that he was a fucking
So you
god.
just don't want to live to be a wash up.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, like you look at some of the talent that,
think of them in their middle age years.
There's a lot of talent that, maybe outlives their talent. Like they outpass their coverage. They outkick their coverage. Does that make sense?
Like who are you thinking of?
I'm not going to say names.
Well,
but
why not?
Oh, because oh God, I forgot to tell you.
What?
Nothing. Can you bleep a name out?
Someone else not using their hands?
No, I have a party at my house, maybe in Serbia. I go out. Oh, we went out. I showed you videos of the night when Jimmy was
the sparklers. Yeah.
So we go out one night and we have this really great time, very safe, very socially distant, very like secluded, in that it was just us, but it was a blast. A lot of stuff to witness, a lot of partying to go on, but no interaction with anyone. But it was fucking awesome. And I got way too drunk. And I wake up the next day having paid the bill, right?
Yeah.
And thinking to myself, what the fuck was that? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, I wasn't working that day, so it was my day off. So I kind of went harder than I would because it was my day off. And I thought, this is a day of recovery. You should be in bed fucking getting some sleep and then getting up and working out and feeling good about yourself and cleaning the house and going over sides. Like I'm like this, and instead you're going to be hungover all day. You're not going to work out. And then I go, fuck that. You know what? If you can't get up and work out, we're done drinking. We're done drinking forever. If you can't get up and work out, I'm really beating myself up. I go, is this what someone's bottom feels like? Is this what it is? Like where you're hung out. Like I got up to the bathroom and I was dizzy, and I was like, my blood pressure's probably through the fucking roof. I'm beating myself up, and my phone rings, and I answer it, and I'm like, hello, and it's a grown man crying, and I'm like. He goes, do you respect me? And I go, I don't know who this is. And he goes, I'm afraid you hate me. And I'm like, I would tell you if I did, but I don't know who this is. And he's sobbing. And I go, who am I talking to? And he goes, is this Bert Kreischer? I said, it is. He goes, Bert, it's.
Oh, God.
And I am like, whoa. And he goes, do you think I'm funny?
Aww.
And I go, very. He said, do you respect me? And I said, I think you're a genius. I really do think he's a genius. And he goes, would you work with me? If someone said my name, would you say you'd work with me? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, thanks, man.
Aww.
And just hung up.
I hope he's okay.
I don't think he is, obviously. Please bleep his name out. Let everyone guess who the fuck that is. And then leave in the comments who you think it is. But it was like, and then I was like, okay, I'm not bad. I'm not that bad. Mm-hmm. Like I got up and I was like, yeah, let's go work out. You can get through this, Bert. Like Jesus Christ.
Oh, bless his heart.
Yeah, he's always been such a sweet guy that's been haunted by demons.
Yeah, he is clearly haunted by demons.
And so fucking talented.
Yeah.
I mean, always so talented, but just got in his own way every step of the fucking way.
Well, you don't get in your own way.
I don't, because I shut my mouth a lot of times.
Do you?
I do. I fucking definitely do.
And you just
shutting your mouth.
You stop using your hands. You just shut your mouth. I haven't been using my hands a lot.
You know, it's so funny. One day I'm going to call you up crying and go, Leanne, do you still respect me?
What?
And you go, who is this?
I'll go, well, are you using your hands yet? Because if you're not, then no.
Do you think people listen to this podcast specifically, and they're like,
wow,
yeah.
She has to listen a lot.
Well, you were coughing the entire time. It's better that I talk. Do you think they go, she's doing a great job of cheering them up? I'm not cheering you up at all. You don't want to be cheered up. Well, a little bit cheered up. I'm more cheered up than when I started.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder why you started so heavy. Is on your mind. You need to get off your mind.
No, you know, I got to be honest with you. I think that I'm definitely aware of my shortcomings. I'm aware of a lot more about, I'll tell you, that movie was a heavy experience in self-realization.
Yeah.
You know, when you watch someone play a younger version of you, or you watch someone behave as you, or you watch someone write for you, or you watch someone tell you what they think you would do, or like you, or you just read or you just have to behave as you.
Yeah.
It really kind of like it really puts a microscope, magnifying glass. And I think that was one of the things I didn't expect. And I came away going, the number one thing I thought was, and you're the one that pointed this out, is that I'm pushing myself a little too hard. And I don't know where that's coming from. And then, you know, you got to remember, I when I was over there, I launched a tour, and everyone else launched their tours, and I watched everyone fucking go full. I mean, like, Sebastian's out every fucking weekend. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's going hard. Joe Coy's going like he's touring like he has a month to live. I mean, you look and then I go, all right, we're back. And then I'm like, hold on. In a weird way, I was like, I have not taken a break. I toured all through the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't have time to break now.
Right.
Like now, if we're all back at it, let's go. And then the other thing is, numbers of COVID cases are raising and mask orders are back in effect. And you start looking and you're going, hold on. Like, what if they're going to close up again? And then you get a panic. You're like, well, fuck, we got to get these dates in.
Totally.
And did I lose you somewhere in this?
100%. Yeah, you lost me.
Why?
Because we talked about this already.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Okay.
And, I understand why you push yourself so hard. And I think I would be a bad partner to not say, hey, I think this is too hard. I think it would be bad for me to expect you to run yourself into the ground and kill yourself for what? For money? I mean, I clearly didn't sign up for this relationship for money. We didn't have any money for a long time. We didn't have any money. So I'm not really here for that.
Isn't part of you like shocked? Like
at what? Like that you're making money?
Yeah.
No, I'm not shocked. That's the thing is that I went into our relationship prepared to not have any money, but thinking that you would have success. But I didn't really tie it to money per se. I didn't really say, and then we'll be rich. That's not really what I thought. I just thought you were very, very talented and that at a certain point you would be very successful. But I've never really, even in kind of manifesting your life, I've never asked for money. I've always asked for security or for us to be able to give to other people or to be able to give our kids certain things, but not like, hey, I want to be rich, God. Could you give me that?
What's so funny is I changed with you. I had a different perspective of what I wanted out of a partner.
Yeah.
And one of the main things I wanted out of a partner, and this is going to sound like fucking low bar. No, but it's funny. It's funny because
you mean it wasn't tits and ass? Did you change from that to?
Oh, you've got those. Yeah, that was a big part of it.
Or tits and ass?
Mm-hmm. And face, obviously. One of the main qualities I was looking for was someone who wanted to be just with me.
Yeah.
Someone who wasn't like waking up and going like, so what are we doing today? Like are there parties out there tonight? We should go to some clubs. We should go to some there's like a bar opening. There's like I wanted someone who's like.
But that's what you are like a lot of the time.
Not at all.
Are you kidding me?
Hold on, stop. Very different to go, we should hang out with our friends than to go, is there a bar opening up?
Oh, well, yeah.
Can we get courtside tickets to the Lakers?
Yeah. No. That's never been.
We should go on vacation. I want to go on vacation, but I want to go with you and the girls. I want to spend time with you and the girls. You and the girls doing stuff like going over to the hay slips or going over to the Grusin, not to the Grusins, but
or pressure washing our backyard.
I wanted someone that wanted to do that. That wasn't like
a partier.
No, it was not even a partier. Someone that I don't know. It's hard to explain. Maybe I didn't explain it right.
Well, how do you feel about moving into our house? Still mixed on that one.
Still mixed. I don't think I understood what I was getting in for. You did.
I did.
And you explained that to me. I'm really glad we're in it. Only because I wouldn't want to be going back and forth.
Yeah. Our house is not finished.
No.
It's mostly finished. On the inside, it's mostly
80% finished.
Now it's after Friday is more like 95.
I mean, there's but there's still wires coming out of the walls.
On the inside, yeah. In some places, we have 3 air conditionings instead of 4.
Yeah, but I'm excited for
September.
When I get back from Go Big, it should be completely done.
Yeah,
I'm excited to live in that house.
Maybe we'll have some furniture.
Grass would be cool.
We got grass
in the backyard. I'd like grass in the front yard so it's not a dust bowl.
Yeah, grass in the front yard is good. Yeah, right now it's pretty dusty. There's a dumpster.
Isla's got the consumption from the dust bowl stuff out front.
Grace.
Everyone walks in like it's 19. I don't even know when the dust bowl was.
Was it the 20s?
Oklahoma? No, it's got to be the 1908.
No, I think
No,
it's
it's
that
gotta be
early.
Dust
It was
Bowl.
the 20s. Wasn't it between World War I and World War II?
Gotta be.
Wasn't it around
No,
the
it's gotta be
Depression?
around the Depression. It's
1932
gotta
is
be
the
in the
Depression.
30s.
In
When was the Dust
30s.
Bowl?
36.
1930 to 36.
6 years of dust.
Drought. You know, you think you got it bad, and then you think, can you imagine living in the Dust Bowl?
I know those guys had full use of their hands. The whole time they were in the Dust Bowl, they probably could cover their eyes and their mouth with their hands.
Can you imagine how bad their asthma must have been?
Oh, they didn't have asthma back then.
Or they just die?
No, I don't know.
They had asthma back then.
Oh, like 1 in 1 million people had asthma, and they'd just die.
Wait, what do you think? Do you think that
Asthma's more prevalent now than it was back then? Yeah, I do.
for real?
Yeah, I do. I do think allergies are way more prevalent, and nut allergies are way more prevalent than it was back in the day. Yeah, I do. I do think.
Do you think anyone didn't get the polio vaccine back then because they
No.
were like,
No.
they're like, I don't know, I don't trust what the military, what the government's doing.
No.
You think when they got the polio vaccine, there weren't some people going,
Pass. I'll pass.
You know what? I'll take my chances with polio.
No, I don't think so.
Really?
No, I don't.
The measles,
Nope.
smallpox.
Nope. You know, I was listening to what was the last? I was during COVID. There was some news, maybe it was on NPR. I don't remember, but I was listening to them interview people from the last time they had a vaccine trial that was similar to what they were doing for Corona. It was a long time ago, and all these mothers talking about volunteering their children for the trials. And how that all the moms, not all of them, but a lot of them said, I believe this is our civic duty. It's our duty as Americans to keep each other safe. So yes, I will have my child in this trial because my child will make it safe for all children. Yes, absolutely. And I thought, wow, have we changed our mentality about what our country should be, what our family should be, what our duties are, and what our responsibilities are as a community? Because now people, I don't think the main focus is not let's keep each other safe. It's like, well, what about me? What about me? What about me?
There's going to be an overthrow of our government coming up.
I don't know. Something's got to give.
There's going to be an overthrow of our government. There's going to be a coup d'etat coming up. And I only say that because that is how history works. The first couple fail and they send those people to jail and those people become the leaders of the future. That's what happened with Hitler. That's what happened with Stalin. That's what happened with Lenin. That's what happened with Che Guevara. That's what happened with fucking Fidel Castro. It's it's like all these guys. They tried to overthrow the government. They really tried, and I really think there's gonna. I just in all these books I'm reading that about history, all the podcasts I'm listening to on history, so much of that is like. That's how that works. It goes in like,
all civilizations ebb and flow in and out of being successful, right?
But I don't know if we're going to be better off. It's like when you look at Russian history, they didn't change anything from the Tsar to fucking the Bolsheviks or whatever. It was just like, people were just as poor. People just had just as little. Mm-hmm. It was, and then they realized we don't have no way to control them. Like, we got to build factories and teach them how to work in factories. Fuck farming. Okay, here, like, it was like, I don't know. I'm super bummed out about, after spending so much time in Serbia and being so immersed in Eastern European history, in that I was listening to podcasts just about that area and about Russia and about, The Dictator is such a great podcast. And then to come home and see what a shit show we have over here with vaccines being politicized, with news people telling people not to get vaccinated, and then by the way, it's like so many of our fucking liberal friends not getting vaccinated, and not
seeing the sameness in everybody. I think that's the problem, is that no one's seeing the sameness. We're all the same, and people believe they're different, and that's why there's dissension, and that's where people forget that there are basic human parts of each of us that are denied when you are asked to choose a side. So you're denying the humanness of the other side, so to speak.
I did an interview.
Hate that.
I did an interview with a guy, a really interesting guy. I think his name is Ross. And I said, we were talking about gun control. And I said, it's funny is I had a buddy, I won't say his name, but I had a buddy when the Malibu fires were going down, who called and said, you have a gun, right? And I was like, and this is, by the way, a hardcore virtue signaling liberal who I think even has his like pronouns in his Twitter or Instagram Twitter handle, like literally very against guns, hardcore, known to be against guns. You have a gun, right? And I said, yeah. And he goes, can I borrow it? Because it's fucking crazy out here. And I was like, no, that's not how that works.
No.
Yeah, you don't get to all of a sudden change your politics because it's getting sketchy.
Or loan your gun out.
Yeah, I'm not loaning my gun out for one, but I go, hold on. You're the one that said all guns, but then when it gets to your front door, you want a gun.
Exactly.
It's the same thing with the fucking Venice. All the people who live in Venice that are like diehard liberals. The second homeless people show up in their front door, they're like, get these fucking pieces of shit out of here.
Or they sell and move.
Yeah, and you're like, hold on. Put your politics where your money is. Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Like don't like I think I'm never gonna say that I'm a flip flopper. I would never listen to a word I say about anything because I never really know where I'm standing or whatever. The wind changes and I fucking change my opinion. But the one thing is I'm kind of a little bit of a like when I looked at getting a gun, I was like, would I be someone that would want a gun? And I was like, yeah, I think I would. So then will I trash people that have guns? No, and so I just didn't. And then it wasn't until I was like, hey, maybe I'll get a gun that I went, oh, I should get a gun. But it blew me away that he would be like, can I borrow your gun? And you're like, hey man, that's not how the world works. You don't get to trash gun owners around the world, mock the majority of Americans on TV, mock them.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to your front door, go, hey, I'm gonna need one of those guns.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what's funny is when vaccines came out. So we did a couple podcasts. I think Halston knew I was vaccinated. But I didn't tell people I was vaccinated. I didn't want to tell people because I thought this is going to be politicized. I didn't even want to tell people what kind I got because I was like, I could feel it being politicized. Just the way that they were shaming anyone that got vaccinated early. How did you get a vaccine? Well, I got it in January. How the fuck did you get a vaccine in January? The line jumpers and do you remember that they shamed them in the LA Times?
Yep.
And I was like, I'm not going to tell anyone I got vaccinated because I have a feeling that this is going to be politics.
Yeah.
And the same with like what you got.
And it shouldn't be, should it? It should be, it's about well-being. It's about taking care of our community. It should have nothing to do with politics and everything to do with healthcare. Healthcare shouldn't be politicized. And it doesn't matter what side you're on. Everybody gets cancer on both sides. It shouldn't matter. There's so much. Education's the same. There's so many basic rights that we have decided as a society we are going to give people that people are so bartering over and trying to take over or take away. Well, part of what makes this country great is that we have freedom. Is that we have freedom of opinion and freedom of speech and freedom to right to bear arms, and these things are what we were built on. And I think people forget sometimes what they mean. Or they make them mean something different than they actually mean.
It's so funny. I think I'm starting to see my views a little more broadly. Like I've always been anti-abortion personally, meaning I would never want to get an abortion.
Yeah, totally.
But I am pro-abortion. Yeah. I am hardcore pro-abortion. If my daughters got pregnant, I'd be like, yeah, if you want to get an abortion, please let's make sure it's safe and sound. And then if someone wanted to get an abortion, I'd want them to get that. But because I would never get an abortion, I always thought I was anti-abortion because I couldn't imagine myself doing it.
You're pro-choice.
I'm pro-choice. That's it.
It's not pro-abortion. I've always been pro-choice because I believe that you have to live with your decisions every day. And if this is a decision that you can make that you believe is right for you and you can live with that decision, then who am I to tell you that that's wrong? But I know another perspective is that's murder, that you're murdering something because it has a heartbeat, therefore it's murder.
Well, I think that's where you start splitting hairs.
Exactly.
You're like, well, when does life start? You know,
exactly. And then how do you draw that line so that we can all agree on it? You know,
yeah. I mean, all I know is today I was like, I kind of want a tattoo. And I was like, you're never getting a tattoo. And she was like, you can't tell me what to do. And I was like, I definitely can. And then in the same breath, I was like, hey, how do we get more control over Georgia? She was like, that's what's wrong with you, Dad. She was like, you need to let go. I'm not getting a tattoo today, but let's look at cool tattoos. And I was like, okay. Then we looked at these tattoos and I was like, oh, these are fucking badass.
It's so interesting when you say it like that, because sometimes you'll come up with some cockamamie crazy idea of something you want to do. And I'll go, no, we're not doing that. And you'll go, just enjoy the fantasy with me. Just go down the fantasy with me. And that's what she did to you. And you were me in the scenario where you're like, you're not fucking, no way. Isn't that interesting how that happens sometimes? Yeah. We all do that. We all have absolutes. And then all of a sudden those absolutes don't apply anymore when it's a different circumstance. And I don't think we as people allow each other to do that. And there's a difference between a hypocrisy and just having a different circumstance like that, where you're her dad and no, we're not getting a fucking tattoo. But the scenario you just described happens with me and you from time to time.
Yeah, it does.
Isn't that interesting?
What time is it? What time's you got here?
4:30.
It's 4:25.
Okay, so we should wrap up.
Well, I want to apologize to anyone who listened to this podcast and expected more lightheartedness.
Oh, well, next time.
That's next time we can do another one.
Hey, you know what? Here's the thing about my podcast is I like it to be just a genuine conversation. And if that's what you were feeling today, then that's what you were feeling today.
And by the way, I love that because that's what my podcast is.
Yeah. And
it's a genuine conversation. I don't need it to be, like Two Bears, One Cave, but it's going to lighten you up. Bill Bert can get heavy at times, but it should lighten you up. But yeah, I love this. I love this about a podcast is that it doesn't, like if we were doing a network show, they'd be like, cut. Let's take it from the top. This is getting really heavy. No,
there's no rules. And the other thing is, this is our real relationship. There's no fakey make-believe in any conversation we just had today. And I know you don't read the emails I get for my podcast, but a lot of people email and say, it's so nice to hear you and Bert talk because you're very real. And then someone's always a Bert and someone's always a Leanne. And there's someone who will email and say, I understand my spouse in a better way because of you talking to Bert about this issue. And I am Bert in this scenario, or I am Leanne, and it helps me understand. That's the whole point, right? We're just regular people. I know you're a big famous movie star and everything now.
Not yet.
But
not yet.
We're regular
January,
people.
February, maybe tops.
Wouldn't you say we're pretty regular?
I'm beyond, sadly, very regular.
We're very regular people. And I think
I would like to be less regular. I'd like to be a little more.
Why?
Well, they were telling me last night when you go to if you're famous, you go to the hospital, they can give you the famous person's cocktail to loosen you up. And I was like, how
I think you already got enough of that. I think you got enough of that. Any more and you're going to be too big for your britches.
Hey.
So.
No, I do like that. I do like that.
Sometimes our conversations are not light.
No.
Sometimes they're not easy. And sometimes we don't agree.
Here, these are the same mics we use in my room. We should just get more mics.
Oh, you mean you switch them back and forth from room to room? Yeah, that's his mic. Oh, well, yeah. I want my own mics.
Well, maybe.
I mean, I don't make any money on this podcast, but I can demand.
It's coming. It's coming. Everyone, check out the ladies Dylan flip flop.
Yeah.
Your flip flop on your foot right now.
Yeah, no, I love my flip flop. It's a little worn though.
The other side. This side. That way.
I love my flip flops.
Yeah, they're fucking comfortable.
They're
check
really
them out.
Comfortable.
They're at freewaters.com. That's how you can help support this podcast. Get your pair of flip flops. Get some merch.
I have a little bit of merch.
wifeotp.com.
wifeotp.com.
And go to bertbertbert.com. You can get some posters. Find me on tour. We have a physiotherapist coming over to get rid of Isla's migraines.
Yep. And my butt hammy.
That is the weirdest thing I've ever felt in my life.
So I pulled my hamstring and it's got a little knot on it.
And I thought you were out of your mind, and I felt it, and it is aggressive.
It's a knot, right?
Here's a good thing. Here's the thing I can look at today. I don't have surgery tomorrow.
That you don't. You don't.
Can't say that on Wednesday.
And you can say something else. You don't have a wife who gets all panicked about her history and her butt hammy knot that I've had for 2 months. You didn't even know about till today.
I know.
What if you had to deal with my anxiety with stuff and your own as well?
I think I would power through. I think if I'm good at dealing with other people's anxiety. Case in point, Isla falling into the pool yesterday.
Good. Yeah, you're good. You're good. And like
she said, we did a video. She sniffed. I gave her a squirt.
Yeah.
Soda, the squirt. She had never had it. She goes, "What is this?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "Try it." I said, I had it when I was a kid. I haven't had one forever. When she sniffed, her nose flexed. She went like this.
Yeah.
Like her nose flexed out. And I went, "What are you doing?" She goes, "Nothing." I said, "Were you doing that with your nose?" And she goes, "No, I'm not." I said, "Let me videotape it." So I recorded it and then I posted it. She goes, "You post that to Instagram?" And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Dad, I'm all busted up."
Oh.
And I go, "What?" She goes, "Don't put that out there. I'm all busted up."
Oh.
And I deleted it. I was like, "I'm all busted up."
Baby girl scraped her face in the pool. Banged her face up bad in the pool yesterday.
Still plays like a fucking 10-year-old, 15 years old.
Sweet.
She still plays like a 10-year-old.
She does play like a 10-year-old.
Yeah, she does. Still
I hope she never loses it.
Well, I'm 48 and I still fucking act like a child.
True. Very true.
Hey, thank you for
I love you.
You love I know.
I love you more than you love me. I know.
Lately you do.
Lately? Really? So you don't love me that much lately?
No, I haven't been showing it, and you've been showing your love for me in ways that I have not been reciprocating.
Well, thank you very much for saying that.
Then let me
because
finish
you know
that
what?
statement.
I never get credit for that. I feel like you never give me credit for that. So thank you very much for saying that.
Getting this house to where it is so that we can move in. You have busted your ass and dealt with a lot of shit that I would not have dealt with, that I cannot deal with. I shut down on certain things, and you doing all of that is a display of your love for me.
It is.
Yeah, and I appreciate it.
That's so nice of you.
When you say stuff like, "Have you seen the pathway to the podcast studio?" And you get excited about it, and I go, she did that because she loves me.
You're right. I'm glad you know that.
I love that we're not going to have dirt in here anymore.
Right? Oh, it's going to be so much better. I'm glad you know that, because I've thought about that a lot lately. I wonder if you realize that is one of the ways that I express my love for you, is to take care of you in that way.
And to bust my balls. Have you seen Dr. Death? Oh my God, your arm's going to be straight for a week. What are you going to do?
But that's always been how we are.
Yeah. It's when you sit on my lap and it would make me fucking squirm.
I know. And I'd say, well, I used to say something to you, like, you want to get up? Oh, somebody want to get up? He can't get up. See, you laughed already.
I'm using my hands a lot lately.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Let's go meet your physiotherapist. See if Isla goes, "I get migraines." I go, "How often?" She goes, "Roughly 6 days a week since I was in 5th grade." I went,
"Oh,
that's not true."
I don't know about 6, but 2, maybe 3.
Well, let's hear what she says to the physiotherapist.
Okay. All right. Love you, babe.
I love you too. I love you guys. Love you too, Bert.